When you take that sugar away from cancers, many cancers shift from a highly aggressive cancer to a survivable cancer. So it becomes what I call a happy cancer. So it's less likely to be aggressive. And that's what happens when you put people in the keto zone. I've been doing that with patients for over 25 years, and I've helped to co-manage cancer patients with oncologists for many decades.
Welcome to Walking in Divine Health, where Dr. Don Colbert delves into the root causes of common illnesses and explores natural, spiritual, and conventional treatments. Alongside his wife, Mary Colbert, they guide you through God's approach to healing, helping you live your best life naturally. Stay tuned as we uncover the secrets to optimal wellness.
Today we are going to be talking about a topic that really everybody is very familiar with.
Very exciting. Mary, I've been recommending a healthy Keto Zone diet now for almost 25 years.
I know.
And
You're the keto man.
Well, I've been myself following between keto or Keto Zone and healthy Mediterranean, because with Keto Zone, if you stay on it long term, it's the healthiest diet along with the Mediterranean diet that there is. And so when you're in the Keto Zone, it's the best state to be in.
What do you consider someone's weight, male and female, age or whatever, that keto would probably work the best with?
Realize that about 41.7% of Americans are obese with a BMI over
30.
Yeah. But there's 30% that are overweight. So almost 75% of Americans are either overweight or obese. And that's why we're seeing so much diabetes. We have about 50% of Americans are pre-diabetic or diabetic.
Right.
So when you're obese or overweight, it leads eventually to insulin resistance, pre-diabetes, and type 2 diabetes eventually. So again, that's what's happening, and we're getting all the health disasters we're seeing with heart disease, with plaque buildup in the arteries, with high blood pressure, with type 2 diabetes, with insulin resistance, with so much heart disease, fatty liver, and other diseases that all spawn off from being overweight, obese.
So you like to see women's BMI around 28?
Ideally, less than 25 is ideal.
Okay.
Anything 25 or greater, you're overweight, you're headed toward obesity. For men, again, it needs to be less than 25. Ideally around 22. If you want ideal, is around 22 BMI.
No matter what the age?
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Would this be true for people that are early 20s and all the way up to people in their 80s?
Absolutely. My healthiest patients are the ones with a BMI right around less than 25 that are older.
And so
now, again, older people can carry a little bit more weight. But again, ideally to prevent disease, you want to keep your BMI less than 25.
Okay. What is the one thing about keto? The one thing. I know this is hard for you because there's so many. What is the one thing you like most about the keto diet?
Well, what I find with the keto diet is it reverses, it helps patients to reverse so many diseases that I find.
It does.
It does. Now, again, you say, how does it do that? Because when you lower your sugar, carbs, and starches, and you start to burn fat as fuel. See, what the keto zone is it's a metabolic shift from burning sugar as your fuel to burning fat as your fuel. And it's clean fuel. But it's best to have healthy fats, because when you have healthy fats in your diet, instead of unhealthy fats like deep fried foods or like trans fats or excessive saturated fats, that invites disease into the body. But when you have clean, healthy fats like extra virgin olive oil, high polyphenol olive oil, cold pressed avocado oil, macadamia nut oil, almonds, nuts, seeds, things like this. These are good, healthy fats that do not trigger inflammation in the body. But the greatest thing I see with the keto diet is people shift from burning sugar as fuel to burning fat, and then they start to lose weight. And weight gain is the key problem that we have with causing so many. It's the main, it lights the fuel for most every disease in the body is weight gain, especially belly fat. Belly fat is especially inflammatory to the body. The more belly fat you have, you know what happens? Generally, the higher your risk of heart disease. The more belly fat raises C-reactive protein. C-reactive protein is a cytokine that constricts the arteries and leads to high blood pressure and more inflammation. Inflammation is the root cause of most every disease, and that's what belly fat does. The more belly fat, generally, the more inflammation and the more disease you're going to have.
Wow. Do you find that people who really do the keto diet, we're talking keto.
Right.
I know you've written a book about Beyond Keto because you know that there's a point where you like people to shift over to Beyond Keto. But let's say for those that are just doing the keto diet, do you find that their appetite is suppressed?
Well, we call it the Keto Zone Diet because once you're in that keto zone, you're in the fat burning zone. It's a state of nutritional ketosis in which your body shifts from burning sugar as its primary fuel to burning fat as the primary fuel. And the fat that the body typically burns first is belly fat, the most toxic fat that's associated with inflammation.
So do you see appetite suppressed?
Yes.
If doing it correctly?
Yes, Mary, the keys to the keto zone, what I see is number one, appetite is suppressed. Appetite is triggered by two key appetite hormones. Number one is leptin. And leptin literally tells the brain that you're full and satisfied. But when you're insulin resistant, or if you're a female and your waist measurement is 35 or greater at your belly button or navel, or a man, if your waist measurement is 40 or greater at your navel, you're insulin resistant. And when you're insulin resistant, leptin doesn't work. So you are prone to have a runaway appetite. And so anyone that's insulin resistant, which is a belly fat, more belly fat, is usually leptin resistant. So leptin doesn't work. So one of your key hormones that tells your brain you're full is not working, so you're wanting to continually snack. But the good news is once you reverse the insulin resistance by getting in the keto zone, by taking some omega-3 fats, about 500 milligrams a day, by exercising and getting adequate sleep, you reverse leptin resistance and your appetite starts to shut off again. The other key hormone, appetite hormone, that needs to be controlled is ghrelin. Now, when your stomach is empty, ghrelin, like the gremlin.
It sounds like a gremlin.
It sounds like the gremlin. But the other key appetite hormone, see, when your stomach is empty, your body secretes ghrelin. Your stomach secretes ghrelin hormone, and it's the hunger hormone. It tells the brain you're hungry, so you want to eat, eat, eat. So the key to the keto zone diet is when you're eating lots of fats, you stay satiated for 8 hours or more.
Now, fat, when you say that, my mind goes, well,
Healthy
wait a
fat.
minute.
Now,
Okay.
healthy fat.
All right.
Now, again, there's unhealthy fats like trans fats, as well as deep fried foods like French fries. Those are very unhealthy fats, as well as lots of saturated fats. These are inflammatory fats like
And
lots
that'll
of
cause
butter.
hunger.
Well, again, butter, cream, cheese, that creates inflammation in the body. And inflammation can also lead to insulin resistance, which leads to resistance of leptin resistance, which causes runaway appetite.
Well, what do you think of these people taking coffee and putting butter in their coffee?
They're creating more problems down the road. Now, the good news is when they're doing that, if they're on a real low carb diet, it doesn't cause near the inflammation. So, and especially if they're taking fish oil, at least 500 milligrams a day, it causes minimal inflammation. But what happens, they don't stay on the keto diet long term. They stay short term. They go back to eating carbs and sugars and starches. And when that happens, that mild inflammation goes to major inflammation.
Goes through the roof.
And so then they start developing all these inflammatory issues usually. And that's what I see in a lot of people that are on and off the keto diet.
Yeah, I've seen that. So they'll gain back the weight they
and
lost
more weight.
and more.
And that's why I like the keto zone. It's a state of nutritional ketosis. We're putting the right fuel mixture in. We're putting healthy fats. We're putting low carbs, real low carbs, green carbs, I call them, like vegetables, salads, green beans, as well as broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, okra, as well as all the salad greens.
Now, you like for people to get these ketone strips so
Yes.
they can check
They can
their
check their urine. Right.
That's how they know they were actually burning.
There are 3 ways to check it. There's
Okay.
urine strips are the easiest. There's the new keto meters that checks the blood for ketones. That's actually the most accurate to do long term.
What do you mean meters?
Yeah, there's a keto meter that you can get like you check your blood sugar. You can also
wow.
check your ketones in your blood.
I didn't know that.
So that's the most accurate. And then there's the breath analyzers that measure acetone or ketones in the breath. So there's 3 different ways to do it. The simplest, just check the urine.
Yeah.
Now, after a month or 2, most people know if they're in the keto zone or not.
And
because
if you're insulin resistant, it's going to take longer for that to show up, isn't it?
If you're insulin resistant, it typically takes about 2 to 4 weeks to get in the keto zone.
See, and
So
I think this is important because then people do it for a week and they still don't see it and they get discouraged.
Well, that's why we have what we call Keto Zone supplements that keep them in the keto zone, like our MCT oil powder. And a lot of patients, now again, you got to be careful with MCT oil powder, usually a scoop a day. It only has 7 grams of saturated fat. And most people have to limit their, when you're in the keto zone, you want to limit your saturated fats to 10% of your total calories. And this is what separates the keto zone from all these other keto diets. They give you as many saturated fats as you want. So you go to your doctor and the doctors put you on statin meds because your cholesterol's through the ceiling. They come back and say your cholesterol 300. Let's put you on a statin drug.
Yeah, right.
But when you limit your saturated fats to only 10% or less, best or less, of your total calories, which if a woman is eating 2,000 calories a day, that would be approximately 16 grams of saturated fats a day is max. That's max.
That's it.
Now, our keto MCT oil powder only has 7 grams of saturated fats and it has 3 grams of fiber. So again, fiber helps lower cholesterol, but 7 grams is fine. So a scoop a day is fine for most people because you need some saturated fats in your body. But if you have high cholesterol, they recommend it you decrease your saturated fats to only 7.5% of your total calories or less. So again, some people, if they have high cholesterol, they may have to limit their, MCT oil powder to 1 scoop a day. Others can have 2 scoops a day, no problem.
When you first developed this product and you brought it to me.
This is almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, and I put it in my coffee. I just remember sitting there looking at you going, Don, you have done it. You have done it. This is the bomb right here.
I love the chocolate MCT oil powder.
We have several flavors, hazelnut, the mocha. You can make a mocha with Dutch chocolate and takes your coffee and makes it mocha. But what's amazing is you're putting yourself in the keto zone with this.
And it stirs up real easy. We have that little coffee frother, we just put it in there.
We have French vanilla. My favorite is the coconut.
Coconut cream?
I love the coconut cream.
My favorite's the chocolate.
Yep, isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's great.
What a flip.
But it makes any coffee taste amazing. But again, with this, and a lot of my patients, they say, well, can I have it all day long? Well, again, I start my morning with keto coffee. Now, I don't drink excessive keto coffee because too much coffee can raise your homocysteine level, which affects your brain.
Right.
So I try and limit my coffee to 1 or 2 cups a day.
That's good. Me too.
And then, I just have usually a teaspoon or a scoop of the MCT oil powder in my coffee. And that's plenty for me.
Now, doing this in moderation will keep you from going into high cholesterol.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
That's what's important.
And this actually helps to raise the HDL or the good cholesterol.
It does.
Right. But again, if you're doing this and you're doing also butter and cheese and cream and excessive saturated fats, your cholesterol is going to go up. So again, I have to emphasize 1 scoop a day is just 7 grams of saturated fats. That's less than 10% of the total. It's less than 5%, and you need usually at least 5% of your total calories of saturated fats to maintain the health of your cells.
Now, I want to address a myth. There is a really big myth about keto, and that is you can eat whatever you want as long as it's keto. And and I remember back when you first started with this program, because you really have become known as the keto doctor. You introduced keto to the masses. You really did.
Years ago.
And so people have really identified him as the keto doctor. He took it and ran with it. And so since he introduced it in a massive way, There's all kinds of keto that has followed since then.
But I would say,
remember-
Mary, 95% of keto diets are unhealthy. That's why I want to show what separates
That's why we're
them.
doing it.
Good.
That's exactly the reason we're covering this show, because there is so much confusion out there, and we want to take away some of the confusion. So I remember when you first introduced it to me, you know, my life story is to everything there is a season. And I come in and out of season. I go into the season where I am obsessed with my weight, and then I go into a season that I don't really care.
She has like 3 wardrobes.
It's
Small
true.
Mary, medium Mary, large Mary.
It kind of depends upon what's going on in my life and how chaotic and crazy it is.
But Mary,
Die
for children,
early, because
just
that's
follow
what you're
my
doing.
Beyond Keto,
Yeah.
the Mediterranean portion, because it gives you healthy carbs for your kids. And once you achieve your weight goals, a lot of my patients will shift over to the healthy Mediterranean diet. And that way they maintain their weight loss. Now, some need to stay always on the Beyond Keto, because once they start raising their carbs, all of a sudden they start putting the weight back on. So for some, you can switch over to Mediterranean. This is especially good for teenagers and kids. And young adults, but when you're older, a lot of you need to go ahead and stick mainly with the healthy Beyond Keto.
And our
or
fruits and
Keto Zone.
veggies are very good for children.
Oh,
They're
absolutely.
wonderful for
Our
children.
grandkids are on it.
Yeah, and it helps with your immune system. So when you're in the cold and flu season and stuff, this is a great supplement to take to help boost the immune system. So many things. You can keep this around, and I refrigerate mine after it opens, because I want to make sure.
It's good to keep it in the fridge.
Because
Absolutely
they're
right.
living enzymes in here, and you want to keep those enzymes alive as long as you can from the time you open it.
Yeah,
So I
okay.
put mine in the fridge.
Now, there's 10 short-term benefits you get from being in the Keto Zone, Mary. Number 1, you start to burn belly fat. You start to burn fat, and especially belly fat. Number 2, you start to reduce your appetite. You start to reverse leptin resistance and insulin resistance, and you start to decrease ghrelin by increasing your fat. So it's real simple. Those appetite hormones come in alignment, and they come in balance. Also, being in the keto zone, it usually increases one's energy. I have seen so many people, once they get in the zone, they say something, it's like a switch was flipped. My energy went from here to here.
It's true.
Because literally
We've heard
Carbage,
this so many times.
Carbage and bad fats create inflammation, and it drains your energy, and it drains mental clarity. The next thing I hear commonly, it increases mental clarity and it decreases brain fog. It also boosts the metabolic rate, so people are burning more fat at rest. They're sleeping and they're burning fat because they're in the keto zone, so they love that. Also, it promotes good sleep. When you're in the keto zone, you sleep better. You don't need as much sleep, and you sleep better. You sleep deeper. Also, it improves blood sugar levels and eliminates the sugar spikes and the sugar drops. So you're not on the sugar roller coaster where you have to eat sugar and carbs every 3 or 4 hours, or else you get a sugar drop or a hypoglycemia, and you're literally on the sugar roller coaster. It gets you off the sugar roller coaster. It reduces inflammation. These are short-term benefits that happen within a few weeks. It helps one's neurotransmitters and hormones function better because there's less inflammation, and one usually feels better. Also, it lowers insulin levels. When you're in the keto zone, your insulin levels, people say, what's the deal with insulin? Big deal. Well, when your insulin's high, anytime I put a diabetic on insulin, Mary, you know, the first thing that happens, they gain weight and they gain belly fat. And so I've seen so many people, so many of my patients come to see me, and their doctors have put them on insulin, and their weight's gone up 50, 100 pounds, because insulin is an anabolic hormone that causes weight gain. It causes both muscle weight and fat weight, and usually they gain belly fat. So the more insulin you have, and I check, if a person's not losing weight, one of the first things I do is I check a fasting insulin level. And if that level is greater than 7, usually they're gaining weight. And so our goal, once you're in the keto zone, I can tell if they're in the keto zone. If their insulin level's high, I know they're not in the keto zone. And so by checking fasting insulin levels, and very few doctors do it, but if your level's over 7, you're going to be gaining weight probably. You got to keep the insulin levels down, or else you're going to gain more belly fat. So
now we have a supplement called Carb Assist.
yeah,
That
it
helps
brings
them.
oh, absolutely,
The
it does.
Carb Assist supplement
Yes.
will help bring that
Carb Assist and berberine definitely help insulin resistance. but you've got to follow the healthy Keto Zone diet
Right,
also.
right.
And it helps tremendously in reversing that.
That's awesome.
So those are the short-term benefits. Then we have long-term benefits. And the long-term benefits are absolutely amazing. And so let's go over these. Number one, it helps lower blood pressure, because when you're in the keto zone, you start to lose sodium. Your body starts to excrete sodium, and literally the first day, people will lose, or the first week, they'll lose like 4 pounds of water weight.
Wow.
And when that happens, their blood pressure goes down tremendously.
Wow.
Now, some people go in and out of the keto zone, and these people shouldn't stop their blood pressure med. But once you lose that belly fat, you're decreasing your C-reactive protein. See, C-reactive protein is a cytokine produced by the belly fat that constricts your arteries. Once you lose that belly fat, I find most people decrease their C-reactive protein. Now, I check HSC reactive protein on all patients. And once I reduce that, usually their pressure will start coming down. And we also have natural things to help lower their blood pressure too, and we add that to it. We did talks on high blood pressure in the past. But those are just two things that happen. Other things, it helps restore fatty liver. When you have been on a lot of carbage, sugars, carbs, and starches, this sugar especially, and fruit sugar, and honey, and maple syrup, and raisins, and dried fruit create a fatty liver. It's the sugar that creates a fatty liver, especially high fructose corn syrup in sodas. I see so many kids with fatty livers now. I used to never see that.
That's something.
And it's
Wow.
because they're living on sodas and dried fruit and orange juice and all these fruit juices. So again, we help to restore fatty liver by putting them in the keto zone and by giving them our Nano Glutathione. Now, Nano Glutathione helps to restore a fatty liver. So again, these are simple things. And finally, what being in the keto zone fuels the brain. It provides another fuel source for the brain. It helps people with brain fog, memory loss, dementia, and even Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's. And it helps prevent cancer. And for those that have advanced cancers, realize when you're in the keto zone with a healthy keto zone diet with the good fats and with low sugar, low carbs, low starches, it will take, most cancers are glycolytic, meaning they feed off sugar. When you take that sugar away from cancers, many cancers shift from a highly aggressive cancer to a survivable cancer. So it becomes what I call a happy cancer. So it's less likely to be aggressive. And that's what happens when you put people in the keto zone. I've been doing that with patients for over 25 years, and I've helped to co-manage cancer patients with oncologists for many decades.
You know, that is really how the keto zone was birthed, is this doctor in California, he would implement a type of keto to cancer patients, and he noticed the aggression stopped.
Well, it helped for cancer, but also it actually started back in the 1930s in managing
Yeah.
seizure patients back then at Johns Hopkins.
Wow.
But also being in the healthy keto zone helps acid reflux. When that belly fat goes, the stomach usually shrinks back down, and it goes back down from the diaphragm. And many times, many of my patients with acid reflux clear up. And finally, it helps prevent plaque in the arteries and inflammation. How does it do this? By decreasing inflammation in the arteries, by lowering C-reactive protein, reducing blood pressure, reducing cholesterol, and reducing triglycerides. All those are risk factors which the healthy keto zone diet helps to reverse.
Now, what's interesting to me, Don, is just because somebody is trim doesn't necessarily mean they are healthy on the inside.
That's exactly right. I find it all the time. People that are trim are insulin resistant, they have elevated blood sugar, elevated hemoglobin A1C, elevated insulin, high triglycerides, high cholesterol. They're unhealthy. They're fat on the inside, slender on the outside.
Exactly, and you'll see these people, and unfortunate, they'll be very trim, and they die of a sudden heart attack.
Yes.
And they'll go, well, I don't understand. They were so healthy looking, you know, they were runners, they were trim, they weren't overweight, but they died of a massive heart attack or a sudden stroke. Or
inflammation, Mary, it's all that chronic inflammation. The best fire extinguishers to quench inflammation are, again, those healthy fats. The olive oil, especially the high polyphenol olive oil, the fish oil, the avocado oil, the nuts, the seeds, the pecans, the pistachios, the almonds, the macadamia nuts. Those are anti-inflammatory, and they taste absolutely delicious, and they're very filling.
the Beyond Keto is the lifestyle, and this is his book on that. If you're just getting started and you don't know where to start and you want to begin, the Keto Zone book will introduce you to the program. And then we have the Keto Zone Cookbook. We have products that we have developed through the years to help you be successful in doing this and how you can really get in the zone. And we're going to give you some more information and encourage you. If you've done it in the past, I want you to, and you weren't successful at it and you failed at it, I want to encourage you to consider it one more time. We want to help you and take you along. We have a chat room on keto, and there's people in there sharing their stories and advice and what to do. And it's just become a plethora of information. Plethora of information for people to go in and share. And this is really, really important to encourage what worked, what didn't work. And one thing I found, because I've done the keto, is which is kind of eye-opening, is you got to stay away from that white flour. The white flour is a major anti-keto. So the big thing people will ask is, well, what can you do in place? And it's so exciting, Don. There's so many alternatives.
So Mary, did you know that wheat has 23,788 different proteins, any one of which can create inflammation and weight gain in your body? And so again, and a lot of people are sensitive to gluten or allergic.
Yeah.
And so gluten is a major cause of weight gain for so many people.
So learning to eat gluten-free is very, very helpful to you in helping to attain what your goals should be. Now, first of all, you got to have a goal, and we got to lay some ground lines here. You got to go into your cupboard. You got to go into your refrigerator. You got to begin to weed out right now.
Garbage are carbohydrates that act like garbage in your body. And it gets you stuck in the sugar burning zone. You'll never enter the keto zone or fat burning zone with garbage in the house, because something happens to almost everyone around 8 in the evening. People get the munchies.
Yeah.
Most everyone.
So you got to remove the temptation out of your house. You've got to do this. This is critical. And just throw it away, give it to someone else, a neighbor or whatever, donate it to a food camp.
Right, but this is chips and crackers and pretzels and breads and bagels and rolls and croissants and potatoes and rice and beans and tortillas and most all fruits, especially bananas and mangoes and papayas and oranges, because it's like a ball of sugar.
Yeah.
And raisins and dried fruits are the worst, and sodas. And juices, Mary, is pure sugar.
Yeah.
People don't realize that 12 ounces of juice is like having a soda.
Yeah.
But it causes more, a lot of times when you have
insulin releases.
Well, no, what happens is they get more prone to a fatty liver.
Yeah.
So again, we want to cut the garbage out, and then we want to give you healthy fat sources. This is critically important. Realize 75% of your intake is going to be healthy fats. So I have big bottles of olive oil. I have the high polyphenol olive oils. I love PJ Cabos. You can use many different ones. There's Laconium Legacy, there's Desert Miracle, there's many different ones you can get. Also, there's oleocanthal that I love, like Atsis. There's macadamia, cold pressed avocado oil is good. That's how you cook my eggs. You'll cook my eggs with at least 2 tablespoons avocado oil, pasture raised organic eggs. And again, sometimes I'll have an omelet. Sometimes you'll use a little feta cheese, or you'll use some onions.
Now we have a cookbook with all these recipes in here. If you get stuck and you think, you're wanting to have some variety, there is a lot of things available now. One thing is almond flour. Folks, I am in shock as to how much almond flour tastes like flour.
It does. It tastes just like it.
It works. Yeah. It really does work, but yet it doesn't cause the inflammation.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have the calories or the carbage. See, almonds are a form of fat. It does have, and again, a handful of almonds contains about 6 grams of carbs, but you calculate the net carbs by taking the total carbs, which is 6 grams, minus the fiber carbs, which is 3.5 grams, and you only get 2.5 grams of carbs. That's low carb.
So for those who've got to have that fried chicken, you roll it in almond flour
or macadamia nut flour.
You dip your chicken in egg, and then roll it in the flour and salt and pepper it, and then you cook it in a low
Mary,
heat
do you remember?
Avocado.
Do you remember when I used to get that almond crusted chicken that tastes just like fried chicken at a Fresh Kitchen? We have a little health food restaurant in Orlando, in Lake Mary, Florida.
Yeah.
And I would love this almond crusted chicken. It tasted just like healthy fried chicken.
It does. It tastes
but it had
amazing.
it was not fried. It was baked with almond flour on it.
Right.
Tastes delicious.
It does. So there's all kinds of things you can do that is going to be very familiar to your taste, and it won't make so difficult. Also, chocolate, dark chocolate.
Oh, but what
without
kind of
sugar,
chocolate, Mary?
Without sugar.
There's a new kind of chocolate.
Talk about
in the stores.
You can actually even have chocolate, and
Well,
since berries is part of it, you get the chocolate, you melt it.
But
you
tell
dip
me
your
what
berries
kind there.
in
There's a
it.
new chocolate on the
Okay.
shelves at
All right.
Walmart and Target.
Tell them what it is.
It's the new zero sugar Hershey's dark chocolate. Tastes just like chocolate, no aspartame. It only has maltitol, which is sweet alcohol, but that's all right. You can have it in moderation.
He buys it by the bags.
It's absolutely delicious.
Now
It's
that
a
we're
great
telling everybody,
treat.
you're not going to be able to
I'm not going to
find it.
find it now, but it's great. It's called the Zero Sugar Hershey's. It's got that unique Hershey's flavor. You cannot tell the difference, but no sugar, zero sugar, no aspartame, no NutraSweet, no Splenda, none of that.
So it's Dr.
which is
Colbert
great.
approved
Yeah,
dark
absolutely.
chocolate that you can get that little taste at night, and that'll help you through the
things you want to
little
have,
crave.
you got to have things in the house, because when that 8 o'clock or 7:30 hits or 8:30, the carb cravings come.
Yeah.
To stop it, you want to have your oils. You want to have some guacamole or avocado. You want to have almond butter with celery or cucumber slices to dip your guacamole and cucumber slices or celery sticks. Also, your keto coffee with a little MCT oil powder is always good. Nuts, I have all kind of nuts, and I'm afraid telling my favorite nut, it'll be gone.
Now, can you
Should I
do
tell 'em?
peanut butter with celery sticks a little bit?
A little, but peanut butter is not a nut. It's a legume. It's a bean. It's the bean family. It has more carbs in it, see? But you can have a little bit on occasion, or like your vinegar, salt peanuts like you used to have.
Right.
Now, again, I have all kind of different nuts, Mary. You can get your pistachios, cashews, almonds, macadamia nuts,
And
hazelnuts.
keep those around the house.
Yeah.
So when you get that little crunch and you want something to crunch and
Now,
salty.
let me tell you something. You want to have something absolutely delicious?
Yeah, of course.
The macadamia nuts with garlic and onion. I found some at Walmart. Oh my goodness, it's my new favorite nut. I found it years ago, and then they quit carrying it, and they just now released it. Now I may never see it again, but talking about a good nut that tastes absolutely delicious. Now don't eat the whole bag. Have like a little handful, or you can have a little more if you're having.
That's the key. You
Yeah.
can't go crazy with these things like I have done in the past. Let me ask you this. You know, one of the reasons I think we're in such a crisis here in America is because of the low fat craze.
Yeah,
that
well,
really,
low fat
that really hurt us
low
as a
fat,
population.
When you're low fat, you have to substitute high carbs for that.
Yeah.
And that's why we have seen such an explosion in obesity, type 2 diabetes, and pre-diabetes because of all the carbs. It's causing insulin resistance, which is the first stage of developing pre-diabetes and diabetes. But what we have to do is we have to have lots of these fats. Think seeds. I love pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are great to have around the house, or sesame seeds, or sunflower seeds, you know, some kind of seeds. But we need to be prepared, have our cupboard prepared.
Yes.
You want all the different forms of seeds. You want to have meats, pasture-raised chicken, eggs, turkey, like fresh turkey, which that's a great little way to have it. You can have it on keto bread. You can have a bacon and lettuce and turkey sandwich at night on keto bread, which is good. But again, you want to make sure that you have these alternatives, these healthy alternatives. As far as wild fish, wild salmon, grass-fed beef, you want to have dairy, but dairy needs to be less than 10% of your total calories. It's best to choose goat or sheep or feta cheese rather than cow cheese. Why? Because cow cheese is more inflammatory, produces more mucus, more inflammation in the body.
Okay, but for people that aren't sensitive to the dairy, this was my question. If they're going to have like a cheese, they can do sourdough bread. You like that okay? Or is
Mary,
that
that's
not...
Mediterranean, that's not keto.
Okay.
You'll never enter keto with sourdough bread.
Okay, so that's an important point.
Yeah, but once you've reached your goal weight, yeah, you can have some sourdough on occasion.
On occasion.
But sourdough, well, you'll never enter keto with sourdough because 1.5 slices of sourdough bread is 20 grams of carbs, and you've just exceeded, that's the most you can have.
Okay, so we had to
carbs
debunk that myth.
Yes,
because
you
some
can.
people are thinking that that's the case.
But it's good to have organic chicken broth, beef broth, bone broth soups in glass jars. It's good to have your organic pasture-raised eggs, your berries, your lemons and limes. You can have 1/4 cups a day, lots of herbs. And again, what I did was I ate a lot of soups, and I would get these, like chicken broth. I would get organic chicken broth, and I'd add in there about 4 tablespoons of olive oil for women, just 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And then I'd add my chicken. I'd get fajita chicken, just add it to it. I'd put cilantro in there, onions and broccoli. You can add zoodles to it. You know what zoodles are? Mm-hmm. Zoodles are zucchini noodles. It's best to stir fry those for about 3 to 5 minutes, then add them to the soup at the very end. Mm-hmm. But you don't want them too mushy, okay? So stir fry them in some avocado oil for about 3 to 5 minutes.
And we have great recipes that will help you figure this all out.
But you need lots of herbs, and we talk about the different herbs.
Because I'm thinking people are thinking this in their mind. Cheese. Okay, because people are cheese lovers.
Cheese is a saturated fat. Cheese needs to be grated on your salad, but not eaten by the slice, or you're going to go over the 10% max that you can have of saturated fats.
Okay.
So that's what I do is on my salad, I grate feta cheese, or I get a salad with feta cheese grated on the top, just a little.
Right.
And then again, it adds that nice, good taste to it, but I load it with olive oil. I'll put 4 to 6 tablespoons of olive oil on my salad.
I know what you do.
And then a little chicken.
All right, listen, milk, because these are things that people are asking me. Milk.
If you're having 2% milk or higher, you're going to get in too much saturated fats.
Okay, so.
But if you have milk, it has lactose in it, which is a sugar. You'll never enter the keto zone.
Okay, so almond milk, rice milk,
coconut milk, not rice milk, too much sugar.
Okay.
You can have coconut milk, you can have almond milk, those are fine. Okay. Oat milk, too much sugar. Rice milk, way too much sugar.
Okay.
But almond milk and coconut milk are fine. And you can make a smoothie. And a lot of times with our smoothies, you add some almond milk, you can add protein. Now you can get a collagen protein, a scoop or 2 of collagen protein, and you can add some stevia. Now it has stevia in there, so it's fine. Add 2 to 4 tablespoons of avocado oil, add some ice, and you have a wonderful, and some people add a scoop of fiber. You have a wonderful, thick, creamy shake that is very filling, because that avocado oil, you're burning fat as fuel. It's not inflammatory. It's satiating. You're going to be full for 6 to 8 hours. It's absolutely amazing. Or you can have a salad, like I said, with all the olive oil, with a little grilled chicken breast, never anything deep fried. Or you can have some turkey with it, or some wild salmon with it, or a little grass-fed beef with it, like a little fillet, a little 3 to 6 ounce little fillet on it. So again, there's so many different ideas, but you got to have the beverages at home. Iced tea is great. Just add stevia or lohan or monk fruit to your iced tea. It tastes just like sweet tea. Get the debittered stevia, like pure stevia, Pyure stevia from Walmart. It's dirt cheap. And also, you want to have, if you love sodas, switch to Zevia, Z-E-V-I-A. It tastes just like a soda, but it's got stevia in it. So if you're craving a soda, load your fridge up with Zevia. Also get sparkling water. You can add sparkling water. I like lemon or lime, and then add a little stevia. It tastes just like limeade or lemonade.
That's awesome, yes.
And also, coffee is real good for you, but I limit my coffee to generally 1 or 2 cups a day, max. And then other things we need is we've got dark chocolate for so many people. It gives you that little feeling at night. Chocolate creates that feeling that you're loved. It stimulates that
Hormone
PEA,
in
that
you.
hormone PEA, which is that love hormone, and it gives you that feeling that you're being loved. So there's nothing better than the zero sugar Hershey's dark chocolate. Absolutely amazing. Now, don't be eating the whole bag, just 2 to 4 pieces a day. Stick with 2 if you can. And then another that's good is Lily's dark chocolate. That's sugar-free. And so these are great little examples of little things that we've hacked so that we're satisfying you without taking you out of the keto zone. We want to keep you in the keto zone. But we have sample menus throughout the book, the Keto Zone, the Beyond Keto and the Keto Zone book. We have sample menus for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snacks. You got to have those snacks. The snacks are critical, and go to bed early. I tell people, the later you stay up, the more you're going to be craving carbage.
Yeah, 10 o'clock should be the latest you stay up.
Absolutely.
You really, to get into the melatonin and the deep sleep. But
Right.
what helps those, so many people who have that 2 o'clock wake up and the wide awake, who's on the weight loss
Right.
part of things, the fiber helps you
Yes.
stay asleep.
Now, what I do every night,
This works.
after dinner, I get my Fiber Zone. I personally like the lemon lime. I've been on the Fiber Zone for years. I have a heaping scoop of lemon lime Fiber Zone and 4 ounces of water, so I'm not having to get up all night. And I have that, and it is absolutely delicious. But what it does, it expands like 100 times its size, so it fills you up. And then you can also have a protein drink at night, but again, you can limit it. You can put like 2 to 4 tablespoons of avocado oil. You can put 1 or 2 scoops of the protein powder, or if you don't like mine, you can get your egg protein or whey protein. Just make sure it's low sugar. You can get chocolate or vanilla. I just like chocolate better. And you can put ice in there. And it makes and again, if you want, some people just put the Fiber Zone all in it. And then you have a rich, thick, creamy milkshake you can have right before bed.
And it's not too many calories.
And you're burning fat as you sleep.
Yeah.
And it's keeping you from having the sugar dips.
Which
So it's
wakes you up.
Right. It's a great thing to do as a little treat. And it's real simple. Just you can use your almond milk or coconut milk, 4 to 6 to 8 ounces. As well as 1 to 2 scoops of your protein powder, or collagen or whey protein, low sugar or low sugar egg protein. And then you need 2 to 4 tablespoons, if you're a man, 4 tablespoons of cold pressed avocado oil, not olive oil. It messes a smoothie up. Add some ice. If you want it sweeter, add a little stevia, debittered stevia, and add a scoop of the Fiber Zone. Now, again, we have a plain Fiber Zone. We have a berry flavored. I like the berry flavored with my smoothies. Lemon lime is a little strong. I like it by itself, lemon lime best, but you may want to add the berry or the plain. And you have a thick, rich, creamy milkshake that's going to keep you in the keto zone all night. And it'll turn off your craving for carbage, which is a great way to go to bed. You wake up refreshed, totally revitalized.
Now, Don has been doing this for years with patients, so he has heard what works and what doesn't work. We have had hundreds and hundreds of testimonies of people that have come to us and shared with us. And actually, we have a testimony that we're going to want to share with you.
Hi, I'm Wally. I just want to encourage you today. I've known Dr. Colbert for over 30 years and have followed his practice. I always found him to be sound advice. Last year, 2023, I knew I wasn't taking care of my body. We were post-COVID. We'd had some life situations going on. So my health was good, but I put on a lot of weight. And I told my wife, I said, I need to go see Doc. And she said, we'll do it. So I reached out, made an appointment. And so I came in September of 2023. I weighed 290 pounds. I was in a size 44 pants. Wasn't feeling good. I just knew I wasn't taking care of my temple, the body. So I came to Dr. Colbert and he said, I can get you there, but you're going to have to crucify your flesh and do the work. And I said, I'll do it. I said, I need to. I want somebody to hold me accountable. So he looked at my blood work. He developed my plan, spent time with me. And I put it into practice. I went home and I started the keto Mediterranean lifestyle. I don't call it a diet because it has to be a lifestyle. You have to make a change. Fast forward now, here we are, April of 2024, about 7 months later. I've lost 85 pounds. I went from a size 44 pants. I'm in a size 33 pants. I feel better. My posture, I actually had to get longer jeans because my spinal cord expanded back to where it should be. So I had to have a little longer pant. I just took a picture with Dr. Colbert today. I was so excited to come see him because I've really been practicing, I've exercised. I do walks. I don't have a gym membership, but I just want to encourage you today that you can do it. It's not hard. I don't have hunger pains, even with the intermittent fasting. If you don't have his materials, this is not a plug for his materials, but they're very balanced. And that's one thing I love about Dr. Colbert. He's very practical. I don't have to hire a personal chef or a personal trainer to do the lifestyle. I can take his book, read it, highlight it, and apply it and walk it out. And I want to do it in divine health. I don't want to be a product of the system or a prisoner of the system. I want to enjoy my life to the fullest. And with Dr. Colbert's help, I'll be able to do that.
He's been a friend of ours for 30 years.
Yes, and he struggled with his weight forever and ever. And finally, one day he just got up and said, you know what, I'm going to do what Dr. Colbert says to do. I'm going to get on his keto program.
Well, Mary, 6 months ago, he came here.
I know.
For a visit.
I know.
And he says, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready. And you know what? That is an important point.
Right.
Right there. You've got to get to the point you're ready. You get up, and if you're one of these people that keeps saying, tomorrow I'm going to do this, next week I'm going to start this, let me just encourage you, make it today. When you make it today a now day, it changes everything. I'm going to start today, and that will make you mentally begin to think in that direction.
And now the Keto Zone is the healthy keto diet that you can be on the rest of your life. Realize over 95% of keto diets are not healthy and shouldn't be followed long term.
I hope you hear us say that. That is what is really, really important.
Use the Word of God to help you through this, to get you in the Keto Zone and to help crucify the flesh. The flesh is your greatest enemy in this, because once you enter the Keto Zone, you're going to have a battle with your flesh, and your flesh is going to want you to eat. It's going to see commercials on TV. You're going to see that pizza, or you're going to see that burger and fries, or you're going to see that chocolate ice cream, or you're going to see the cinnamon rolls, and the flesh is going to crave it. So you've got to be ready. You've got to be ready. Number one, change the channel. Number two, say no to it. And I like to tell people the key verse is Galatians 5:24. Those that are Christ, if you're a Christian, they've crucified the flesh with its affections and lusts, especially for sugar and carbage.
Now listen, I want to encourage you to join in on the Keto Zone Challenge. So we have the Keto Zone 21-day challenge. You can do anything for 21 days. That's simple. That's simple. So come in and join our 21-day Keto Zone Challenge group for 21 days.
Mary, it takes 3 weeks or 21 days to establish a pattern, and it takes 3 months to establish a habit. So you are establishing a Keto Zone pattern when you do this 21-day challenge. It's great.
Right, and there's something about just being a part of a group. You're not going through this by yourself. The thing is, so many people feel like, oh, I'm the only one who's going through this, and they can get into their pity parties. What's so cool about this is they really start sharing with each other, and you find out you're not alone. You've got a whole group of people,
yes.
Huge group of people joining in with you and sharing with your stories and successes. But I want to share with you a great success story right now. Wally, who's a good friend of ours, take a moment and watch what Wally did. Listen to him. This is one of hundreds of stories we have, but we really enjoyed
But his
the
is
story.
just recent. It just happened a few weeks ago.
And we like current information.
And he's been a friend of ours for 30 years.
Yes.
And he lost 85 pounds.
Yeah, we have Judy who did hers.
Oh, yes.
So many. So take a moment and listen to this story, and we'll be right back.
I'm Wally. I just want to encourage you today. I've known Dr. Colbert for over 30 years and have followed his practice. I always found him to be sound advice. Last year, 2023, I knew I wasn't taking care of my body. We were post-COVID. We'd had some life situations going on. So my health was good, but I put on a lot of weight. And I told my wife, I said, I need to go see Doc. And she said, we'll do it. So I reached out, made an appointment. And so I came in September of 2023. I weighed 290 pounds. I was in a size 44 pants. Wasn't feeling good. You know, I just knew I wasn't taking care of my temple, the body. So I came to Dr. Colbert, and he said, I can get you there, but you're going to have to crucify your flesh and do the work. And I said, I'll do it. I said, I need to. I want somebody to hold me accountable. So he looked at my blood work. He developed my plan, spent time with me, and I put it into practice. I went home and I started the keto Mediterranean lifestyle. I don't call it a diet because it has to be a lifestyle. You have to make a change. Fast forward now, here we are, April of 2024, about 7 months later. I've lost 85 pounds. I went from a size 44 pants. I'm in a size 33 pants. I feel better. My posture, I actually had to get longer jeans because my spinal cord expanded back to where it should be. So I had to have a little longer pant. I just took a picture with Dr. Colbert today. I was so excited to come see him because I've really been practicing, I've exercised. I do walks. I don't have a gym membership, but I just want to encourage you today that you can do it. It's not hard. I don't have hunger pains, even with the intermittent fasting. If you don't have his materials, this is not a plug for his materials, but they're very balanced. And that's one thing I love about Dr. Colbert. He's very practical. I don't have to hire a personal chef or a personal trainer to do the lifestyle. I can take his book, read it, highlight it, and apply it and walk it out. And I want to do it in divine health. I don't want to be a product of the system or a prisoner of the system. I want to enjoy my life to the fullest. And with Dr. Colbert's help, I'll be able to do that.
Wasn't that an amazing story? We have got thousands of those stories, and we want you to be a part of it. You can do it. Don't be depressed. Don't be discouraged. We want to encourage you. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Go to our 21-day Keto Zone Challenge. When you go to our Keto Zone Facebook, you go in and you sign, then you can go in and we will give you access to join the ketozone.com/challenge. Then you get to become a part of the challenge group. We've got over 10,000 plus members in there talking right now. So come on in, join us with us. We want to hear your stories. We're so excited about this.
Amen.
It's going to be
exciting.
good. Let's get healthy together. Let's live long and strong for the Lord.
Amen.
Because that's his will, is that we be a light to the world. And I'm going to tell you, not sitting on the couch eating donuts. That does not work.
That's right. Amen.
Thank you. May you walk in divine health.
Want to unlock the secrets to a healthier life? Keep watching. Dr. Don Colbert is a pioneer in health and wellness. With over 30 years of medical experience, he's authored best-selling books and helped countless people. Dr. Colbert has the answers. Stay tuned for more tips and insights from Dr. Colbert.